Don't get too adventurous. Like watch out for margin debt. Like I would really advise people to not have margin debt in a volatile stock market. And
they have it. Hey, Sachs.
Oh, hey
I see
guys,
somebody.
look who's here.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh, is it the proprietor?
The proprietor, the owner.
Twitter customer support at your service. Something I've committed to, and we'll I think probably be able to roll that out in January. Just by the way, there is like a bit of we are not going to be rolling out a ton of new features over Christmas and New Year's and stuff. So there's like the next sort of feature set will probably roll out mid to late January, and hopefully in that we can include information about why an account is suspended or has what is called within Twitter visibility filtering, aka shadow banning. So and some of these things are like there's a lot of things that just happen accidentally where there's the rules in the system that are meant to detect whether someone's a sort of bot or troll or like brigading, where they're like and then an account is sort of innocently caught up in that. So like there was some accounts just suspended yesterday because but temporarily suspended. Like they got like 12-hour suspensions because someone in trust and safety thought that they had posted a nude photo of Hunter Biden or something.
Here we go. Oh no!
But they hadn't actually done that. I don't know. It was just basically a mistake. There were some accounts that got a 12-hour suspension yesterday for in error, but they weren't sure why it happened. It was just essentially a mistake with Twitter customer support that was corrected.
Elon, let me ask you just a slightly broader question. One of the things we just talked about was the regime change that's happened, where we all have to act differently now that the risk-free rate is probably going to get to 5%. And I'm just curious, across all your businesses, so Twitter, yes, but really more importantly, Tesla, SpaceX, are there decisions that you will make differently or not at all, or will make that you wouldn't have made otherwise in this new regime? And how often do you think about that kind of stuff?
Well, I think it's more like it does seem like we're headed into a recession here in 2023. The magnitude of that recession is debatable, but I think it's at least a light to moderate recession. Potentially, it's on the order of 2009. So I think it's wise to kind of like prepare for the worst, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Don't get too adventurous. Like watch out for margin debt. Like I would really advise people to not have margin debt in a volatile stock market, and from a cash standpoint, keep powder dry. You can get some pretty extreme things happening in a down market. Like Brett Johnson, who was a CFO, who is a CFO of SpaceX, was at Broadcom in 2000, and he said that, and that's a good company making good products. And he said the from peak to trough, I think in less than 12 months, Broadcom went down 97%. So like even if you had a small margin loan there, you got crushed. It subsequently recovered, and I think to much higher levels. But if there's like mass panic in the stock market, then you got to really be careful about margin debt. So. But I mean, this is just as we know, the economy is cyclic. So and we're somewhat overdue for a recession. And my best guess is that we have sort of stormy times for a year to a year and a half, and then things start to dawn breaks roughly in Q2 24. If I were to get, that's like my best guess. Recessions don't like booms don't last forever, but neither do recessions.
And it's a 14-year boom, so a 6-quarter recession seems like that might actually balance out. The last time it was 4 or 5 quarters, so it's not easy. Hey, the Twitter files. How much longer are these going to go on? It seems like every week another drop, and these are pretty controversial. How much longer are the Twitter files going to go on in your mind? Yeah. And maybe why is this important to you to make sure that people understand the stuff? Yeah. I
think it's important to, if we're going to be trusted in the future, to kind of clear the decks for stuff that's happened in the past. So, to be totally frank, almost every conspiracy theory that people had about Twitter turned out to be true. So, is there a conspiracy theory about Twitter that didn't turn out to be true? So far, they've all turned out to be true. And if not, more true than people thought.
Is there a part of the files that really shocked you more than the rest of them? Like, of the things that have been disclosed, of all of these things, is there something that really sticks out with you as like, holy shit, I had no idea this was happening? Or is the whole thing just a big dumpster fire? They were just looking at one huge thing. Like PSYOPs versus the Hunter Biden thing versus the...
Yeah.
The number of FBI people involved, that was pretty shocking.
FBI stuff is pretty intense.
Yeah, the FBI PSYOP stuff to me was probably the one that was the most insidious. Like, the rest of it I could think of like, a bunch of overzealous libs got used.
Yeah.
Got it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But to have like a secure skiff that essentially sends things that, government agents want the populace to basically think, it seems like out of a really bad dystopian novel. And then it turns out it existed. And then the thing is, it couldn't have just existed at Twitter. So what are we going to do about all the other places where this shit's happening?
YouTube, Facebook,
yeah.
That's why none of it seemed that surprising to me. I don't know, maybe I just believed all the conspiracy theories, but I've also been inside some of these companies and seen how they operate. So honestly, none of it was a surprise to me. Was it a big shock to you, Elon?
Wait. You Freeberg, you were, I think you can claim that you weren't surprised that these companies were shadow banning, although they denied it. But did you really suspect that the FBI was playing a role in flagging content for these companies to take down? That blew me away.
Content that's got nothing to do with terrorism.
Yeah, they're not investigating crimes. There's no crime.
Right.
Yeah, they literally flagged satire. Maybe they didn't get the joke. I don't know, but
they don't seem to be a humor-driven group, but they don't seem to have the best senses of humor. But aren't they supposed to get warrants? Isn't that how it's supposed to work in a democracy? They want information
they're
about
asking
users
favors of
they
their
follow.
friends. Yeah, they're all friends.
That's the thing that's troubling to me. Put yourself on either side of the extremes.
Hey,